Alright, welcome everybody to this edition of Bill's Bench. Today what we're going to do is run through some flies that we used day before yesterday on the Colorado River up near Parshall. To give you an idea of some of the things that are currently taking place there on the river. Basically this time of year we're dealing with the runoff, so we got clear water in the morning and it starts to cloud up in the afternoon as we start to get more and more towards runoff. Anyway, for this one we're going to tie a San Juan worm with a little bit of a different twist on it. This is a size 2. This is a rather large hook, but we're going to be fishing faster water, deeper riffles and runs that are going to be give them something to key on as they look. So this is a size 2. This is actually a salmon hook, as you can see by the shape of it. We're going to use red thread. Go ahead and tie that in and run it all the way back. We are going to run just past the barb on this. Get a little bit of a curve on the end. Okay. So this is going to be a little bit of a larger fly, but this is going to be a lead fly if you're fishing 2 flies in a nymphing rig. Okay. Next piece, we're going to grab some red larva lace. This is actually the standard size. You can get the larger, the midge, some of the other, but you can see here this is standard. We're going to beef this fly up a little bit, so we're actually going to start up here towards the head and wrap it all the way back to build up the body just a little bit. Okay? You can go ahead and just leave that hang there. The next piece of it, what we're going to do is actually tie in some holographic thread to wrap his ribbing in between. That's what this looks like. It's got multicolored, so we're going to use a little bit of that to give it the segmentation in the body. You can use either gold wire, but this gives it a nice tint, a little more flash as the water becomes off color. Okay. And this is a real simple fly to tie. Okay. Nice and simple. Go and wrap it fairly tight and pull it when you make that first wrap. And then just continue all the way up the shank of the hook. Okay, go ahead and pull that tight and tie it off. I tend to press my finger across there just to hold it tight. Next piece of this, we're going to go ahead and take this and wrap it right in between all those wraps. Kind of see how that holographic will give the color off. So I'm going between each and every one of those wraps all the way up. And that helps. Tie that off. Simple. Go ahead and make a nice head on the tip of the fly. And then what we're going to do is throw a half hitch, which is just placing 2 fingers on the top of that, wrapping around, so a half turn just to hold everything. And then at this point you can go ahead and use a whip finisher if you're familiar with or used to using that. I do not use a whip finisher, I do everything by hand. So I'll just whip finish it by hand and be done with that. And you can just trim that off and nick the tip of the hook as I did that. And that is one of the flies that we used yesterday. I think there's a number of different names for it, but just something I've been using on the Colorado River for years. Great fly up there. Perfect.
Very cool. What did he take?
10-1, big atomic one. It's a good looking Colorado bow. Good looking fish.
Pretty neat.
Thanks for not stepping on my rod.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Alright, what we're going to do now is we're going to tie a WD-40. This is a dropper fly we're using in a 2-fly rig on the Colorado up near Partial. And I'll give you what I'm using on this is a TMC 100, size 16. I like the straight eye as we use on for using on a WD-40. So first thing we're going to do, gray thread. This is going to be a gray WD-40. What we ran into on the river is once we got little clouds and a little rain and things cleared up, some of the beta started to come off, and they seem to be, the fish seem to be keying a little bit more towards them as they were the bigger flies and moving up into the riffles a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and show you how to tie this. This is another simple fly. These 2 flies that we used yesterday were, these are very, very easy to tie. Next we're going to use a little bit of wood duck flank. Grab a few fibers off that for the tail. And go ahead and measure that. You can kind of see where those things come into play. And what I like to do is go ahead and tie it in basically where I'm going to start the thorax on the fly and then wrap it back. And as you hold it to one side, you'll be able to pull it and the fibers will spread out a little bit like that. And then go ahead and build your body up with the thread. And then one wrap right across the top of it to hold it in place while you go ahead and put your dubbing. The dubbing we're going to use, this is kind of a, hopefully you can see that good, a nice blue-gray blend. You can use muskrat fur, but I tend to use a synthetic on these because it's a little bit easier to twist into a tighter ball. I don't like a real messy head on these. So, pull off a little bit of that, and we'll go ahead and spin that up on there. It takes a mild amount of pressure as you twist that on. Okay, and go ahead and wrap. What you can do is actually pull that tight once you get it on there. And if you have too much, you just kind of peel it off like that. Back to the head. Now we're going to pull this over the top. What I like to do is you pull that over the top, go ahead and pinch your fingers down, and then run the thread up between your fingers and down, and then pull it tight. And it'll go ahead and do that. And you can pull this tight and then flip in a half hitch to go ahead and hold everything in place. And you can trim off the excess. So, and then go ahead and whip finish the head of the fly. And I do whip finish by hand, so I don't use a tool. And then you can go ahead and add head cement to that. That's basically all there is. Nice little WD. That was about the size that was coming off the water, so that's why we stuck with that. Okay.
Is this your fish finder here?
That's the fish finder.
That's what I thought.
Looking good. Sorry, I seen a fish jump down there.
That's okay.
Got a log?
Yeah. There's a bunch of midges coming off. Blue wing olive right in the nose. Good looking rainbows though.
Yeah.
Well, there's a hatch just started, so put that on.